Well, I'm in the same boat. That's what I understand.
U.S. Army, 1969-70.
Lieutenant Earnshaw, U.S. Navy, 1968 to 72, 1974 to 76, and 1986 to 2009.
Hi, Bob Ryan, U.S. Navy, 1970 to 1974.
Mike Holden, United States Army, drafted in 1968.
John King, United States Army, 21 years.
Bill Martin, United States Marine Corps, 66 to 70.
There you go.
Hey, Ray Atkins, December of 1963 to January 1998, 34 years.
U.S. Navy, 1969, 1973.
Tom Shipley, United States Navy, 1962 to 1994, 32 years.
Charles Blevins, 6970, Army, 1st Cavalry Division.
Buddy, I want you to tell them the story that you told me about what it was like when you came back from serving in Vietnam and what you experienced and how different it is now.
I think what you're relating to was the no welcome. We came back, and I hate to word it this way, but that's the way it was, to an ungrateful country. This country's not ungrateful anymore. We will remember our veterans. We will leave no one behind. And we were treated, I know a lot of guys came home to different cities. I came in to Seattle, Washington, and it was horrible the way we were treated leaving the plane. What was being thrown at us through the fence, I cannot describe to you. They would not open the gate for us to get out where they were. That would have been a mistake for the people doing the throwing. Most of these combat veterans, and we hadn't really gotten deprogrammed from the fighting. What we were taught to do. And as I said, is that what you were wanting me?
Yeah, I just wanted to share that.
We feel good about what we did. We went with intentions of defending our country, and most people didn't believe that, but that was our intentions, and we were trying to defend the country and stay alive. And a lot of young people didn't make it back, and we veterans that are living today, I think in our hearts, we try to live our lives for those 19-year-olds that did not make it back. That's the way I try to live my
life. So all you Vietnam veterans here this afternoon, welcome home.
I know when I was stationed at the Pentagon, one morning we were going in to work, and there's a group of protesters outside the fence, and they were throwing rotten eggs at us. And I got covered in rotten eggs.
I'm so sorry.
I would like to recognize one other special person that is with us this afternoon. How many of you know that we had a city historian? Linda Moss Mines, would you stand? Linda does such a great job with our veterans and is involved in the Veterans Day Parade every year, or the Armed Forces Day Parade, and does so much for our city. And we appreciate what you do for the city. Thank you, Linda.
Thank you, and tomorrow at noon at the county courthouse, the city and county will recognize Vietnam Veterans Day with a wonderful ceremony. And I have to tell you what's so special about these guys is that they formed the Vietnam Veterans of America to make certain that no soldier, sailor, airman, marine, or coastie ever came home again and didn't have a welcome home.
Absolutely. I'm going to ask the past president and the current secretary of the Vietnam Veterans. Treasurer. Yeah, they're the treasurer. You're the money. The Vietnam Veterans of America, if you would come and stand with me while I read this. By the way, I am an associate, lifetime associate member of the Vietnam Veterans of America.
All right. Appreciate that.
Good.
Appreciate that.
Proclamation by the city of Chattanooga City Council. Whereas the Vietnam War, which greatly affected an entire generation of Americans, leaving scars which continue to make themselves known today, spanned 19 years and 180 days, making it one of the longest military conflicts in the United States history. And whereas the Vietnam War Veterans Recognition Act of 2017 officially designated March 29th as National Vietnam War Veterans Day annually, and in 2023, we continue commemorating the 50th anniversary of our nation ending military involvement in the Republic of South Vietnam. And whereas more than 3.4 million men and women served in the Vietnam War, an estimation of 2,000 troops remain unaccounted for, over 150,000 wounded, and upwards of 58,000 having made the ultimate sacrifice. 4,165 of these casualties are laid to rest in the Chattanooga National Cemetery, to include 1,295 Tennesseans. And whereas over 10,000 veterans who served in the Vietnam War were residents from the Tennessee Valley. Since their return, these veterans have contributed tremendously to our community. And whereas we again have the opportunity to honor, give thanks, and pay tribute to these men and women who saw our country through one of the most challenging missions and who answered the call of duty with valor, serving our country during this 20-year conflict. Whereas we recognize and honor the immeasurable contributions made by not only the over 58,000 names read on the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Wall, but those who are still with us today. Now, therefore, on this 28th day of March 2023, the Chattanooga City Council hereby proclaims March 28th, 2023 as a day in the commemoration of the National Vietnam War Veterans Day in the city of Chattanooga. Let us continue to show our Vietnam veterans and their families the fullest respect and support of a grateful Chattanooga community. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Don't clap. I got about a 4-page report here. I have a question. Is there any Gold Star mothers here or Gold Star family members? Bless you. Anybody that don't know what a Gold Star family member is or a Gold Star mother is? Gold Star family members and mothers are someone who's lost a service person in service. So thank you for that. Appreciate you. I can go out with you on that.
Well, I'm going to ask Linda if she would come, and if everybody could kind of just gather right in here and let us take your picture, if y'all don't mind. And then we're going to dismiss you. Well, that's not for
I'm sorry, Ray.
Yeah, just kind of stand right in here. We'll try to get everybody together. Oh, short picture in the rear.
You need to get out of the way.
Well, I think we probably need to do 2 rows, so, because I don't have a wide angle.
Just get for the mic.
Just see it, we
I
good.
was not gonna say that at all.
This is it, we good.
I'm just gonna say, well, see.
Look, add some flavor.
Yeah. We can stagger you some and just so that we see real, that's perfect. Come on in there, Commissioner. That's perfect. That's good. I can see everyone smile. Say freedom. Amen. Thank you.
Amen.
Thank you. Gotcha.
Thank you. Thank you for your service.
Thank you. God bless.
Thank you for your service. So much.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councilman Henderson. I appreciate that, and thank you for your service. Can I get a motion on the minutes?
So moved.
Second. Motions have been approved and properly second. Motion carries. We don't have any ordinances on final reading. We do have ordinances on first reading. Madam Clerk, could you read item 6A?
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 25, Article 3 by adding Section 2579 relative to enumeration of prohibited noises in all residential zone outside the downtown amplified music district.
Councilwoman Burrs?
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. Out of respect for Councilwoman Hill's concerns about things that nothing addressed her district, I would like to defer this with council's permission for 4 weeks to give the administration, I've spoken with them, to give the administration chance to deal with the noises she's especially interested in.
Works, that will be a deferral until April 25th. Is that in the form of a motion?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Can I get is there a second? Okay, the motion has been properly moved and seconded. This item will be deferred until April the 25th. Under planning, first reading, Madam Clerk.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code.
Yes, I'm so sorry. Thank you so much. All right, all in favor of the, I'm sorry, going back to item A, all in favor of the deferral? Aye. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All opposed? All right, motion carries. Thank you. All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Madam Clerk. Could you read item B?
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance so as to rezone properties located at 7368, 7376, 7384, and 7390 Old Cleveland Pike from R1 residential zone to RTZ residential townhouse or lot line zone subject to certain conditions.
All right, is the applicant here? Is there any opposition present? All right, Councilwoman Burrs?
I move approval.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion carries. Resolutions. Madam Clerk, with no objection from the council, can we take items A, B, and C as a group?
Yes. Item A, a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a real estate purchase agreement with Tennessee American Water Company to purchase 14,863 square foot portion of tax map number 135016 at 455 Moxon Bend Road and a temporary construction easement for an adjacent 3,375 square feet in substantial forms attached at a total purchase price of $22,000 for the Tennessee American Water Company construction of a water booster pump station and to authorize the mayor to execute all documents required to complete the transaction. Item B, a resolution authorizing the mayor to jointly with Hamilton County enter into an agreement for easement with Tennessee American Water Company in substantially the form attached to purchase a 20-foot wide easement of approximately 2,950 linear feet, which is approximately 1.35 acres for current and future underground water lines at the purchase price of $55,000 with all proceeds to be equally divided with Hamilton County and to authorize the mayor to execute any additional transactional documents. Item C, a resolution authorizing the mayor and his designee to enter into a lease agreement with Dardanelle Loan and substantially to the form attached for the use of the barn on the Brown Acres Golf Course property, further identified as tax map number 158IG001 at 406 Brown Road, for the keeping of animals as consistent with zoning for a term of 4 years, beginning on April 1, 2023, and ending on March 31, 2027, with a rental rate of $200 per month.
Motion has been seconded. Are there any questions or comments? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Madam Clerk, this is item D.
A resolution adopting the City of Chattanooga 2023 Climate Action Plan.
Move to approve.
Second. We have a roll call, please.
Yes, item has been moved and properly seconded. Madam Clerk, if you could, are there any questions or comments? Right? Madam Clerk, if you can do a roll call vote, please.
Councilman Henderson,
No.
Councilwoman Hill,
Yes.
Councilman Smith,
No.
Councilman Hester,
Yes.
Councilwoman Burrs,
Yes.
Councilwoman Knoll,
Yes.
Vice Chair Dudley.
Yes.
That's 5 yeses.
All right. Okay, 5-2, motion carries on first reading. Madam Clerk, if you could read item E. Oh, resolution, I'm sorry, could you? I'm sorry. Okay, we can move to item E. Okay, Madam Clerk, if you can read item E.
A resolution authorizing the appointment of Knox Edwards as a special police officer unarmed for the McCamey Animal Center to do special duty as prescribed herein, subject to certain conditions.
Move to approve.
Second.
Has been moved and properly second. Any questions or comments? Councilman Henderson.
I was just going to move to approve, Madam.
Oh, okay.
Madam Chair.
Second, all right. It's been properly moved and seconded. Any other questions or comments? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion carries. Item F, Madam Clerk.
A resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Public Works to award contract number W22018-201, raise and lower manholes for Tennessee State paving projects to Professional Concrete Finishing, Inc. of Chattanooga, Tennessee for $449,675 with a contingency in the amount of $50,325 for a total amount of $500,000.
Move approve. Second.
Motion, item has been moved properly second. Any questions or comments? Right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item G.
A resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Wastewater to execute a third amendment to the Environmental and Economic Infrastructure Improvements Plan, E2I2, an interlocal agreement for cost sharing between the City of Chattanooga and the Hamilton County Water and Wastewater Treatment Authority as part of the City of Chattanooga's consent decree, and said amendment to extend the deadline to complete the project.
Move approve.
It's been moved and properly second. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have our purchases. Who's coming up to do the purchases? Julia?
Good evening, council. We have 5 purchases this evening. The first is from the wastewater department. This is a 2-month contract extension for Mohas Cryo LLC for remote monitoring services for the cryogenic oxygen generation system. The estimated annual spend will increase by $35,000 for an annual total spend not to exceed $140,000. The second is from Public Works. This is a change order on the purchase of synthetic turf from AstroTurf Corporation for an additional $59,400 that is needed to cover the stabilization of 30,000 square feet with 6% Portland cement stabilization for Frost Stadium. This change order is utilizing the Sourcewell contract number 031622-AST. The third is from the Fleet Management Division of Public Works. This is a one-time purchase from National Auto Fleet Group for 2023 Dodge Ram 1500 Classic Tradesman 4x4 quad cab pickups for the Street Maintenance Division of Public Works. This purchase will utilize the Sourcewell contract number 091521-NAF for a total cost estimate of $129,440.58. The fourth is from the Fleet Management Division of Public Works. This is a one-time purchase from Trantex Transportation of one thermo trailer with Tommy Lift for the Transportation Division of Public Works. This purchase will utilize the buy board contract number 608-20 for a total cost estimate of $142,858.18. The fifth and last purchase is from the Fleet Management Division of Public Works. This is a one-time purchase from Lee Smith, Inc. of one 2024 International HV607 4x2 chassis with Bridgeport side loader body for the Street Maintenance Waste Division of Public Works. This purchase will utilize the Sourcewell contract number 060920-NVS for a total cost estimate of $310,255.77.
Second.
Purchases have been moved and properly seconded. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. All right, now we're to committee reports. Councilman Henderson. Councilwoman Hill. Councilman Smith.
Madam Chair, I have no report, but I would like to welcome my colleague, Commissioner Joe Graham, for being here tonight, and thank you, as well as former Commissioner Sabrina Smedley. Thank you both for being here tonight.
Hey. Thank you. All right, Councilman Hester.
No report?
Okay, Councilwoman Knoll.
Yes, we had, no report, but we had a very informative, exciting, and fabulous presentation of the Tyner Future Ready Institute today. So I'm excited about that.
Thank you. And Councilwoman Burrs.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As you know, we've been in budget process, and in the next couple of weeks, I will be, as chair of the budget, I will be announcing the schedule, very much like we had last year, for total education of the budget for the public and the public hearings, et cetera. And it will also be up online. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'd like to say hi to my commissioner as well, Commissioner Graham. And now we come to the part where we recognition of persons wishing to address the council. If you wish to address the council, you can go ahead and start lining up at this podium now. And City Attorney, would you please read the rules?
Yes, ma'am. At the end of each council business meeting, the chair will recognize members of the public who wish to address the council. Here are the rules. Each speaker wishing to address the council can only be recognized with the microphone up front for that purpose. You can't have more than 3 minutes to speak, and you can address the council only upon matters within their legislative and quasi-judicial authority, and not on matters which are not under the authority of the council but are regulated by other governmental bodies or agencies. Can't use any vulgar or obscene language, nor use the floor to personally attack or personally denigrate others, and address the council as a whole, not make comments directed towards individual council members. Don't engage in any disorderly conduct or disrupting a public meeting, which is prohibited by Tennessee law, and someone commits an offense like that if the person substantially obstructs or interferes with the meeting by physical action or verbal utterance with the intent to prevent or disrupt a lawful meeting or gathering. Having stated the rules, go right ahead, sir.
All right. And as you come up, please state your name and district number.
My name is Stephen Bates. However, I do not know my district number. It's downtown area. And I would like, today I was talking about the Vietnam War, and that French is my second language. Vietnam was once French Indochina. And I just want to say in college at Chattanooga State, I took environmental science and biology. And I know on television, they was talking about Agent Orange poisoning and some of the kids in Vietnam and stuff being born deformed because of the Agent Orange contaminants. Then I heard about Roundup and other weeds in the U.S. causing sickness. So I would like to just say there should still be some kind of, in schools and stuff, since some people there may be something the city council does. They should, be cautious of, weed killers and, crop, dust and crops and stuff, because that can lead to biological, defects and birth defects. And that affects me because at 52 years old, I've never had kids and, was not married. And man can have children at 52, so I still qualify to be a father. And if I became rich, like playing the stock market or winning the lottery, I would adopt maybe a Korean or Vietnamese children or something like that. If I could, that would just be a dream, but dreams come true in America. I just wanted to point that out. Also, I would like to say, I've DJ'd on the radio, I've sung in nightclubs. I'm that type of entertainment type person. And there's barriers of entry into the field. However, that's not a problem. If you're good enough, you get past those barriers. It's your own fault if you can't beat the barriers of interest. But there are barriers of interest because I try to start a business and find barriers of interest to doing that. However, it's not your fault. It's my fault because those barriers of interest are easily avoided if you prepare in time. And I like to praise the Asians for their Chinese and Japanese, Korean restaurants. Some of the restaurants closed down. They used to be here, but there's all these Asian eateries, and I like their food. And I like to praise them. I remember once in rap music, people would criticize Korean business owners for opening up shops in the neighborhood and saying they was on the shops there, but they wouldn't associate with the people. But hey, if they own the shops there, you better be glad they're there, or you wouldn't have nowhere to shop. So I like to praise the Korean business owners and all that, for opening up shops in some of the inner cities when no one else was seen to. And America is a great place. The education system is great. The economy is great. I wanted to run for city council and local office myself one day. I was paranoid about going up to people and asking for their signature and stuff, but I could get around there one day maybe.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Bays. Your name and district number.
I'm Jamie Hall. I'm actually a county resident. However, my husband is.
I'm so sorry, Jamie. Stop. Could y'all store her? I know. If you can store her clock over in tech services, can y'all do anything about the mic? Can y'all change it out? Thank you so much. Thank you for your patience, Jamie. All right. And I'm sorry, could you state your name and district number again and start her time over?
My name is Jamie Hall. I am actually a county resident. However, my husband is employed within the city. We attend church in the city, my whole family, and we visit the city pretty frequently. First of all, I am very honored to have been here when we honored our Vietnam veterans tonight. So thank you for taking the time to do that. But I was prepared to talk to you guys specifically about the climate action plan. And while I'm not against recycling and getting rid of waste and taking care of stuff, I don't believe that we need to involve a lot of the surveillance and the monitoring and all the stuff that is in there. So I just wanted to remind you as elected officials, you work for the people. We, the people, are no longer quiet, complacent, and or ignorant. We're well-educated, researched, and ready to enforce our rights as citizens. We will lawfully follow through in every way that we need to in order for you to follow through with your job to represent us. You should no longer fear pressure from the mayor and other people with deep pockets and power. If you're smart, you will respect the citizens, our knowledge, and our courage to stand against government overreach. The climate action plan should not be a city council vote, but a Chattanooga citizen vote after full transparency of this plan is given publicly to our people. It's not just about the good intention parts of it that affect us right away, but the future probabilities of what these changes would allow. We cannot allow federal and international governments and organizations to have any power in our city. We do not support this plan and will stand against it at every level and from every angle in a lawful way. Thank you.
you.
My name is Rick Walser. I live in Chattanooga and I vote. I was very surprised we didn't have a full council today to vote on such an important issue. I sent every one of you my email. Jenny responded. I appreciate your response. She acknowledged in my input. I guess I'm really disappointed that during the 3:30 meeting, I didn't hear more discussion about this. I emailed every one of you my questions about the cost. I emailed that, my analysis that 4 out of the 5 citizens are against this. The people that voted for it last time, they're TVA, EPB, government workers, people that say, hey, I'm a builder, I'm going to make money on this, vote for it. So I guess I'm really surprised that I didn't hear more comments, more questions on this at the 3:30 meeting. One topic not mentioned was the actual cost of this project and continued maintenance. Who is providing the funds? How much is each providing to who, for how long, and funding requirements? Who are the partners mentioned in the resolution that will provide consistent, dedicated effort by the city of Chattanooga and partners across the city? These are all very important elements of this plan. I saw some names up there. Now, are those the ones that are going to benefit financially from this plan? So, looking at this on the World Economic Forum, in the face of extraordinary challenges, 36 pioneer cities chart a course towards a more ethical and responsible future. Okay, here we are, Chattanooga, we're on it. World stage, Chattanooga, with all these other, and this is Klaus Schwab's organization, World Economic Forum, smart cities, 15-minute cities. I think everybody here hopefully would know about what that means and where it's going. You look in the climate action plan and it talks about a circle there. Oxford, they're building a circle around the city. They divide it into 6 pieces. You stay in a zone. They give you 100 passes a year, which can go down to 2, 5, or they reduce those number of passes. So you're going to be able to go visit your mother across town. You're going to be limited. You're going to be able to have to stay in that zone or you're penalized. And there are people that, I don't know, I'm just sort of, here is a contract that we have right now, the city of Chattanooga with Soul Robotics. Most accurate, we have this already. We're expanding from 14 smart intersections to 100. They're going to build 86 more. Most accurate deep learning AI with dynamic weather filtering capabilities, detect, track, and predict the movement of pedestrians and vehicles regardless of weather conditions. Highly accurate, real-time data, real-world data-informed testing.
Thank you so much.
Please rethink this.
Thank you.
My name is Glenda Papu, and I do reside in the county. However, like my daughter, I go to church here. I love to walk on the Greenway, walk the Walnut Street Bridge. And I do want to say also that I appreciate that we did honor our Vietnam veterans. We need to always honor the people that have served, which brings me to y'all. Y'all are a council that serves at the consent of the governed according to our Constitution. And I hope that you do remember that you work for us. We are the employers. You are the employees. And I heard tonight something devastating, that one of our members is not happy to hear from his constituents, which broke my heart that we would hear that from the city council and even our county commission if that happened. I want to commend the mayor that he has put this addition to the plan. However, again, the plan is based on a false theory. Climate change is a theory. In the 1960s, if you were awake, if you knew anything, they predicted the ice age for the 1990s. In the 1980s and 1990s, they predicted that the planet would burn up, and it was not a climate change, but it was global warming. Right. This is happening, whatever's happening, all these crazy things that are happening. We have geoengineering. If you do your research, you know that our skies are being filled with barium and aluminum and all kinds of different things on purpose. And if you go on the websites of the United Nations and the World Economic Forum, you will find out why they're doing this, which is to prevent the sun from all the rays or whatever, but God created, he knows what he's doing. Go on the WEF website and type in Chattanooga. We are all over that. We are Chattanoogans. Chattanooga knows how to govern our own city. We do not need the federal government, the Department of Energy. We do not need the World Economic Forum or the one world government people out there telling us how we need to solve our problems. Zero waste is great. We should address zero waste. We do not need the premise of a false theory, just as they've tried to push, losing anyway, as against creation, evolution. They tried to push that as fact. It's theory. Let's prove it and then act.
My name is Alta Wilson. I live in District 1. Some things to consider even now. Wallace Mannheimer, a retired U.S. naval scientist, wrote in a recent paper that the climate industrial complex, which is a powerful lobby, pushes direct climate-related falsehoods. He states it has somehow managed to the climate complex, it has somehow managed to convince many that CO2 in the atmosphere, a gas that is necessary for life on Earth, the very one that we exhale with every breath, is an environmental poison. Multiple scientific theories and measurements show that there is no climate crisis. So how has the so-called climate crisis even affected Chattanooga? Is our air worse than it was 10 or 20 years ago as to warrant such extreme measures? This climate action plan eventually wants the majority of our cars to be electric. Have you researched the details about EVs or just the federal funds related to them? Hybrids are a reasonable choice, but electric can be expensive and certainly inconvenient. This information is from US News, BBC, Car and Driver, and even more. So let's talk about batteries. The lithium batteries that EVs use cannot be recycled like traditional ones. They must be dismantled, and less than 50% of the components can be reused. They contain hazardous materials and can even explode if they're disassembled incorrectly. There are also been reports of exploding batteries setting cars on fire. For many EVs, there's no way to repair even slightly damaged battery packs after accidents, forcing insurance companies to write cars off with few miles, leading to higher premiums and undercutting gains from going electric. Battery prices can represent up to 50% of an electric vehicle's price tag. And when the batteries wear out, they release more CO2 than the vehicular emissions. The base components for batteries are out of China, and Ukraine is one of the world's richest sources of EV materials, particularly lithium. We need to address the big picture of all of this, and we need to see where we're being led.
Just 1 second, quickly before you start. When people are up talking, let's show people respect. I've heard some laughing and some giggling and things like that while people are talking, regardless of what your opinion is. There are varying opinions, varying thoughts. But no matter what your opinion is, what your thought is, everyone in here deserves respect. So let's respect the person that's talking. Also, we're here to listen. So please respect the person that's talking. Please don't laugh at people. Please don't clap at people. Let them get their voice heard too, because your voice is just as important as theirs is. So let's do that. Let's show each other respect in this space, because that's what we're here to do. We're here to listen. So you all can voice your opinion, no matter what your opinion is. So let's do that, please. Thank you. Okay, you can go ahead.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Babs Reimer, 3rd District. Depending on the make of the electric vehicle, battery packs may only last 10,000 to 20,000 miles, and the replacement cost is $10,000 to $20,000. EVs cost more than their gas-powered counterparts, but over time they have shown to depreciate more quickly. Some have lost as much as 70% of their value over a 5-year period. Currently, the average mileage of a fully charged EV is 211 miles. The charging time comes down to primarily power source, the vehicle's charger capacity, and battery size. Both cold and hot weather extremes add to the charge time. There are 3 charging levels. Level 1 is a full charge at home using a 120-volt outlet. Isn't measured in hours, but rather days. Level 2, a homeowner would need to install a 240-volt, 50-amp circuit, which will maximize most EVs' onboard chargers. Level 3, and this is what is pertained in the CAP. Public charging will have direct current fast charging. Expect about an 80% charge in 35 to 45 minutes, unless you also have to wait in line. Traveling a long distance will be a challenge. Charging station rates are influenced by location, time of usage, length of use, and power level. You can only pay by app or credit card, so be sure all the 16-year-olds have one. Idle fees are extra charges consumers may pay when they leave their EVs at a charging station for too long. You'll have a 5-minute grace period to move your car to another parking space if you can find one. That charge can be from 40 cents to $1.40 per minute. Public charging stations can be hacked. An infected charger can contaminate a charging station, which will affect other cars and stations. Then you have a contaminated transportation community. New York Times reports a hacked EV could shut down the power grid once the car is charging. And who covers the cost of replacing or upgrading all these new charging stations when they become unusable? I don't want stations everywhere that take up real estate and can even become rather obsolete. I would prefer my tax dollars to go toward improving streets, upgrading school buildings, better waste management, crime control, and more. Please pursue we the people rather than pursuing federal funds and those WEF directives. I don't want a smart city. I want smart city leaders. Thank you.
Hi there. My name is Cecile Paris, District 4, and I'm going to keep this short and sweet so y'all can be relieved. I won't have many words to say. I was born in Chattanooga, part of Hamilton County, and I think everybody here loves Chattanooga or they wouldn't be here. So I don't have much to say about that except hi, y'all. So I have a copy of the oath of council person, which says the first line is, I, whoever, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America. So I have a copy of the Constitution here, and the first 3 words of the Constitution are we the people. And I think we need respect of we the people. We need to have a vote of our own and everything, and not just we the council people. Have a good day.
Hello, my name is Rachel Campbell. I'm a resident of District 3, so I'm deeply disappointed in my representative's vote tonight. I'm also proudly the chairwoman of the Hamilton County Democratic Party, and I represent a large block of Chattanooga city voters who stand in support of this climate action plan. It is a, thank you. It is a bold, innovative, and necessary plan that sets achievable goals to move towards a sustainable future for our children and their children. It moves us further away from our history of being the dirtiest city in the South. It cares for our rivers, lakes, and streams, our mountains, and our valleys. We should be proud of the work that has been done to improve our city. The climate plan also addresses the need for walkable spaces and moves CARTA into a timeline for the necessary switch to electric vehicles, reducing carbon emissions in Chattanooga. The climate plan invests in minority districts, helps eliminate food deserts, and creates better living and playing spaces all across our beautiful city. The idea that this plan in some way creates a surveillance state or digital concentration camps is absurd. That this plan releases chemicals into the skies is nonsense. We should trust the scientists who have spent years of their lives studying climate science. We should trust doctors who tell us that climate change increases respiratory disease. We should trust energy experts who are teaching us how to reduce carbon emissions, which is killing our earth. So again, I thank Mayor Kelly, his administration, and this council for trusting those people. I heard talk tonight about this being the Bible Belt, and that's true. But I also heard from those same mouths discussion of disrupting the work of this council. And so I would ask Christians in this room to remember that Jesus called for peace and kindness. Chattanooga is the kindest city that I have ever lived in. And that is saying something, as my dad was in the Navy. He taught me about kindness. He served with kindness. Perhaps we should go back to that mentality. I've been a resident of Chattanooga for 27 years. My husband was born and raised here. In fact, I'm certain his umbilical cord is attached to Lake Chickamauga. I've raised my children here. I'm not leaving. And Chattanooga is a welcoming city, for sure. And so we welcome these refugees from other states. But this was our home first. And we're proud of the work of our mayors, both past and present, that are helping change our climate in Chattanooga. We support the council. We support the passage of this resolution. Chattanooga and Hamilton County will be better because of it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for allowing me to speak. I'm David Rial from East Ridge, Tennessee. I want to point out that this plan did not get developed in secret back rooms. It was numerous publicly held meetings which were promoted and well attended, which I attended several. The goals are carefully constructed, outlined for the purpose, with a purposed goal to make this Chattanooga a better, cleaner, and economically advantaged city. For Hamilton County and for Tennessee. There's never been a discussion of a backdoor way to increase surveillance or control the citizens of Hamilton County. As the argument for this, big corporations like TVA, EPA, and Volkswagen, I point out Exxon, Shell, and BP are bigger concerns than our local. Even TVA is in its charter, they must act in the best interest of the citizens. EPB has put out this spotlight on Chattanooga with the fiber optics and is going to put us on the spotlight again. All I can say is the outcome of this plan is positive for the futures, and yet the changes can be changes can be challenging, but life is also change. So I'm 100% behind this climate policy.
My name is Dot Reed. I live in Appleton, Tennessee, and that is part of Hamilton County, for those of you who might not recognize that. And I want to make just a couple brief comments. Part of this is based on, part of what you are presenting to us is based on a global warming theory. And it's false. It is faulty because scientists have been paid to write it. If they don't write what the government wants, they do not get their funding. That, unfortunately, is how our government works. The other thing that I highly object to, and I might just say, if anybody is interested, go out on the web, the World Wide Web, and look for John Coleman. He was the founder of the Weather Channel, and he's very interesting and raises a lot of valid points. The other thing I object to is pushing this whole surveillance issue on us. You can say what you want. You are here today. Tomorrow you may not be. And what's to change? Who's going to affect that? That is really trampling on my constitutional right to privacy. I cannot support what you're putting forth.
Hello, City Council. My name is Jenny, and I live in the Southside community in District 7. I'm here today to ask for your help in 2 areas. 1, ensuring that local businesses comply with city regulations, and 2, ensuring that the city is adequately resourced to protect local communities. My boyfriend and I live with our dog on West 19th Street, across the street from Go Dog Chattanooga, an animal daycare, grooming, and boarding business that opened late last year. Since December, we have been subject to daily noise disturbances starting as early as 6:30 in the morning. On February 28th, the McCamey Animal Center finally issued citations for violations of the barking dog ordinance, and we look forward to attending the court hearing on April 20th, where we will share our testimony in front of the judge. Go Dog is also in violation of the city zoning code, as it is located in an urban mixed commercial zone, which does not permit the use of land for outdoor animal care under any circumstance. Despite this, Go Dog has built an outdoor play yard and has been extensively promoting Go Dog Social, a membership-based dog park and bar social experience. Go Dog has not opened this part of their business despite collecting membership fees since early last year. But we are concerned that this will set a bad example for the rest of the community if they are allowed to operate as expected. This is Go Dog's 3rd location, and they plan to turn it into a national franchise with support from their investor, L5 Capital Partners. At this time, we have not yet heard back from the Land Development Office about how they're handling the zoning violation. My ask to you is to ensure that city codes are enforced properly to protect our community's quality of life. We are not trying to shut any businesses down. We simply want to find a way for them to operate in compliance with city regulations and without being a nuisance to their residential neighbors. Finally, we learned last week that Go Dog does not have a kennel permit. According to city code, quote, "The purpose of requiring a kennel permit is to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the public and companion animals, and to preserve the right of all property owners to the quiet enjoyment of their property through the effective regulation of kennels," end quote. The reason Go Dog does not have a kennel permit is because kennel permits are issued and enforced by the Animal Control Board, and there hasn't been an Animal Control Board since 2018. You, as the City Council, have the authority to appoint residents from each of your districts to be members of the Animal Control Board. My ask to you is to open up applications for this board and to make it a priority to appoint members and bring it back so that this important governing body can provide much-needed oversight into the growing animal care business in Chattanooga. Ms. Dotley, my neighbors have been in conversation with you via email, and I hope that we can work with you, the city attorney, and other council members to come to a positive resolution for all parties. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And Jenny, is it Jenny? Jenny, right. Thank you so much for coming up, and I'm gonna direct you to Chris Anderson for now. He's been working with me on this issue as well. He's right here to your side there.
Oh.
So you can speak with him maybe after council.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank y'all. All right.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, my name is Dave Dennis, District 7. And I just want you guys to know, keeping it short, your capital plan is just not, it's the World Economic Plan duplicated. It's a globalist plan. And I know you guys have studied this climate action plan, but nowhere in the plan does it show anything about a EMF radiation that's going to be exposed in all the surveillance equipment that's going to be lining the streets. And that's a pollution factor that you guys should look at. It's a health risk for everybody walking the streets with the 5G technology bombarding us from cameras and LED lights. It'll affect all of us. I just would like you to have an extra study added in there on that because it affects all our kids and all our futures. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead, state your name and district number.
Monty Bell, the homeless journalist, the gray-haired fox, always waiting on permission. In my game, it seems like the offensive players always move first, and I have to play defense. But I'm here to checkmate tonight. I'm going to set aside the $105,670,000,000 that you all owe me for your fraud on the court. I want to talk a little bit about a young lady that I didn't have a chance to meet. This is the last week of, I think, Women's Month or something to that effect. But this little young lady here that I'm holding up, a photograph, I'm glad that a picture speaks 1,000 words because our newspaper industries, our television programs, our radio programs are unbelievable. And I'm really glad that pictures speak 1,000 words. This young lady, her name is Neva. If you turn her name around, it spells heaven. On last Saturday, she passed away at the age of 2 years old. I was in a store to pick up a ticket to take to the county commission on tomorrow. I've got a county commissioner there by the name of Greg Beck who's trying to bring up a resolution to stop homeless people from addressing the county commission. And I've been a part of this nonsense for over 30 years, since 1993. As I told you all the last time I was here, I've had an East Coast Forum Express train on the move since 1993, and I'm sure some of you heard her this past weekend. She's going to make another return. I want whomever is in charge of the funeral parlors to help bury this young lady in the city of Chattanooga, the county of Hamilton, the state of Tennessee. Because as a homeless journalist, the gray-haired fox, an entrepreneur denied of any opportunities here in this one-horse buggy town, I don't know if I have any friends in this city anymore. Every time I seem to come here or at the county commission, I seem to have handcuffs put on me. But I'm getting ready to get the district attorney to get a whole train load of handcuffs to come in here and do some handcuffing. Because we've got a lot of fraud on the court. And if Nashville is not an example of it, and if my train hadn't given you an example of what's in front of you, I don't know what else to tell you. I'm just a messenger. And my message tonight, $105,670,000,000 for your fraud on the court. And if you're tired of seeing trash, stay out of the mirror. And I thank you. I thank you very much.
I'm Brad Reimer. I've been in District 3 since 1980. And I love this city and I love the people of this city. And I am, however, not in favor of the federal and global portions of this action plan that would be subsidized or funded and therefore directed by globalist interest and federal interest. I trust the citizens of the Chattanooga to vote in representatives that will represent their interest and solve our problems our way. And I just think that it is very difficult to have your foot on one side serving we the people and your foot on the other side trying to serve federal interest in order to get their dollars. And I just think that it's very difficult to serve two masters.
Too close? Can you able to hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Robert Son, and I wasn't planning on speaking tonight, but I prayed about it, and I have a lot of colleagues here.
I'm sorry, Mr. Son, what is your district number?
District 6 in East Brainerd, and I'm against this plan, and it's because my conscience dictates that. One of the founding fathers says that it's neither safe nor wise to act against conscience. And from what I do know about the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and the things that they do have planned, this is just one more step towards global governance, which I completely disagree with. Now, I happen to be a follower of Christ, and Jesus says to love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength, and to love your neighbor as yourself. Your vote will show if you love your neighbor as yourself, because it'll show where your conscience lies. Jesus says you cannot serve both God and money. And unfortunately, we're in a situation, and I feel for you, because you have hard choices and decisions to make as council members. When I came into Chattanooga here 4 years ago, this city was thriving, and it was really moving. And then the pandemic hit, and with the pandemic lockdowns, it wiped away a majority of the small businesses in around the country. And this was a pandemic by the globalists. These were like multi-billion-dollar business people, and they're the wealthy and powerful people that do not care about the average citizen. Now, I grew up in the 80s. I was not always a follower of Christ. I grew up in the 1980s, and this country had more of a Judeo-Christian biblical worldview, meaning that people like this state, which is called the volunteer state, they volunteered to serve in our military. They gave up blood and treasure to fight for the liberties of this country, and which they did because they loved the country that they lived in, and they wanted to defend it against enemies within domestic and enemies abroad, which the Constitution says that we should do. Because if you love your neighbor, you're going to go out there and do the best you can to defend them. And of the three things that communist goals, which the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals are in alignment with, are the three things are the destruction of the biblical family unit, the abolition of private property, and the destruction of free market enterprise. And going towards global governance, these things will happen. It may not happen overnight, it may not happen over in the months, but it will happen in the years and maybe the decades to come.
Thank you. Right, and before you start, the reason why it's making all the static is because the mic is so low. If you want to set it up on the top up there to make it a little better. Yes.
It is a little low.
Yes,
Well,
okay.
It's kind of, thank you.
Okay,
We'll figure it out.
okay, go ahead.
My name is Harriet Reed. I am in the 4th District. I am very disappointed that you all voted, or not all, some of you voted for this CAP plan. As you know, because I sent letters out to you all, I don't agree with it. I do love this city. I haven't been here long, as you know. I moved here in June of last year. Thank you so much for allowing me to come. Sure. And you can take my picture to my face and you don't have to do the selfie thing. But anyway, and the reason I say that is because, you know, in California, some of the things that people do when we disagree, we start this really ugly thing where we're trying to either intimidate each other or do other things. I believe in debate. I believe that we can settle our differences by discussing them, and I think we can come to good conclusions. That's why I think Chattanoogans, take my experience from California, you need to find out exactly what's in this plan and what it's going to cost you. Whether you believe in the climate religion or you don't, it's going to cost you, and it's going to cost you dearly. And it'll happen when you least expect it. It'll happen when you're in your nice, tidy home next winter, and all of a sudden they let you know that there's a brownout, rolling brownouts. The energy is not, you cannot depend on it. So if that's your thing, it's not going to help anybody to have energy that doesn't work, that's not sufficient. If you have all of the city government vehicles rolling on electric, what electric does that leave for the rest of the people? if you suck up all the internet, if EPB sucks up all the internet for all of their surveillance cameras and everything else they're doing, there's no more internet for the rest of us. And honestly, I have to tell you, if I hadn't been told I was in Gig City, I would not have noticed, because the internet's just not that fast. It's just not. I'm in East Brainerd, and it's just not that good. So I am just telling you from my experience that these things that you think are wonderful, they aren't. And in addition to them not being wonderful, they're ugly. Do you want a solar farm next to your house? The solar farms are not attractive. The windmills are not attractive, and they don't work. So I'm just saying that, you know, these are the practical things that we have to look at, and I would like to be treated as an adult. Give me a budget. Funding we're getting. How much is this costing us?
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Angela Favaloro. I am in District 5. I started my family in District 1. I work in District 8. I also help provide stuff for small businesses and everything else within our community in every single one of your districts. I first here tonight because when I was watching the agenda session, I heard about our fantastic Future Ready Institute that's going to be going in at Tyner, and I hope you all overwhelmingly support that program and the great things that our early learning are. As a parent of a third grader who has had a lot of heavy stuff on our plate this year about literacy, knowing that we'll start earlier in Chattanooga and Hamilton County, and that the city is supporting the Hamilton County, I'm extremely excited about that program. As a citizen here who moved here to come to UTC and haven't left since, I am very thankful that the climate plan, those of you that voted for it were in favor of it. I feel like things are a living body. We put plans in place and we do the best and make goals and everything else. And when things don't work, we pivot, right? Because we're dynamic, we're a community. We are a very welcoming community. We welcome all the refugees and people that all come from different walks of life. And in that capacity, sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. I had nothing planned for this. We are constantly looking for ways to be better. For those of us that haven't lived here in Chattanooga most of their lives, in 1969, we were the dirtiest city in America. And because it didn't have the word climate plan in it to trigger feelings, the EPA and all of the programs that help make our air to the capacity that it is today were so important. In the construction world, we still see brown sites and some toxicity in our dirt and things like that that could hurt our neighbors and our families. And if we don't have plans like this, it doesn't get better. Thank you.
Yeah, hi, Mike. There we go. My name is Jim Johnson, District 2, 1638 Berkeley Circle in Chattanooga. I wasn't planning to speak tonight either, but I feel compelled to. The very first time I spoke to City Council, which was probably 6 or 7 years ago, I said, it's better to light a candle than to curse the darkness. It's easy to complain and find fault, but let's work together to come up with solutions. And that's what has been happening for well over a year on the climate action plan. Very little gets accomplished from here to there. What gets accomplished is around a table, whether it's with council members, city staff, or whatever. A few other statements. Climate change is real. Evolution is real. I'm not afraid the internet is going to be sucked up and leave nothing for the rest of us. Excess CO2 in our environment is dangerous to our health. And I really feel that so many people speaking last week and tonight misrepresent and warp key elements of the plan. For example, a smart city, that would allow traffic lights to be timed to reduce idling time. That's not an attempt to increase surveillance. I'm very much in favor of 15-minute cities that would allow everyone to be able to walk or bike to a park. A 15-minute city does not restrict us to zones or prohibit us from going elsewhere. Chattanooga, like our state and nation, is a representative democracy rather than a direct democracy. And I am more than content for this council to vote and represent me. Yeah, I want to see trees protected. I want to see parks created. I want greenways that will connect us. I want a Chattanooga that will be here for future generations. And I guess the last thing I want to say is the plan is not a detailed plan. It doesn't spell out everything, and people are filling in the blanks. What the plan is, it's a framework, a blueprint. It's not the completed building. In favor of the climate action plan, and I hope to see it take place in the near future. Thank you.
Hi, can you all hear me?
Yes.
I'm Tanya Miller, and I live just outside of the city limits, right over the hill, so I'm in the county. But I'm here tonight to talk to you all again because it's important and it affects all of us in Hamilton County, not just Chattanooga. I wanted to say thank you to Councilman Henderson and to Councilman Smith for their votes. I am disappointed in this vote. Like I said, many of the climate issues here can be done at the local level without the involvement of the federal government or without the World Economic Forum, right? I think we can do that without them, without their involvement and their hook. They're hooking us like a fish, trying to control us. So if you don't believe it, go read the WEF, read their page, what their goal is for our future. You know, let's not be short-sighted and just look at our city plan, your city plan here in Chattanooga. You got to look at their bigger plan because maybe it's not developed enough at this level, but they've already got it worked out up there and they want to control you. Let's see what else here. So anyway, you all just voted tonight to give them power over all of us, and it does affect the county too. I was talking about my utility company today and how I don't have much of a choice to opt out of the smart meters that I don't want to have anything to do with. It checks in every 15 minutes. And, you know, that's not their business what goes on in my house. That's an aside. Let's talk about liberty. I think it was one of our founding fathers said, if you're fearful, you'll give up your liberty for perceived safety. And I think that's what we've done here. You've got to think not just about you and not just about, you know, right now, but we've got to think to our kids' future and our grandkids. And they're going to look at you and say, what happened when you were younger? And how did we lose that right to travel around, to have the freedom of speech? These things sneak in on us and they start controlling us. The surveilling us, the locking us down. You can't travel. Somebody mentioned it earlier about not being able to travel so many times outside of your zone. That's not the America I was born in. And I don't want that for my kids or my grandkids. So I want you to hopefully sit down and read about this and think about communism it's a slow slide right in there into communism. And I think we need to watch that. You all need to read about it and pray about it. And hopefully you'll overturn it. But otherwise, you all just might have opened up the door for that to happen in the United States, along with California for Klaus Schwab. So I hope that you all are accountable at the next election. We'll see what happens with the city of Chattanooga. Hopefully they wake up and see that that's not something that's good for the city. Thank you.
This is it, right?
That's right. You can leave it up there. You don't have to move it.
Hello,
So,
I'm Tim Gilly. I'm from the district of Walhatchee, or Lookout Valley, or Tiptona. But we are in Chattanooga. But this is what concerns a lot of us in here. We don't know what this is. I'm not sure who named this or titled this smart city. Says who? What's a smart city? To me, we should have a right to vote. I don't remember anybody, especially our leader, Mr. Kelly, running on smart city. In fact, I'm proposing a name change. And I'm pretty low. I live in Walhatchee, but I do pay taxes. I propose city. Pretty catchy, isn't it? But when you think about it, what little bit I know about it, because y'all haven't come to us. Y'all stay within these four walls and pretend that you're speaking to the people. Well, a lot of the people don't agree with what you're speaking. What I'm saying is that these little grids, it's kind of like little pastures. We're going to put these people in these little pastures. Maybe the Highland Park pastures, they'll be the black sheeps, or the Chattanooga pasture will be the white sheeps. And y'all are looking down, no, not y'all, but Mayor Kelly is looking down from the mountaintops. They're the elite pasture. And they're up there watching on all the power boards. I used to be power board. I used to hang fiber. In fact, I hung fiber. Looking down and saying, well, we got 4 white sheep from Tifftona moving across the pasture, across the fence to house. We don't know what's coming. So we ask that y'all slow this down and go back to the people for a vote. The people need to know about what is being proposed. We don't trust these smart so-called. Do y'all know who the smart person is? Who the smart city is? Let me just point this out. Facebook and Google are being called on the carpet for selling data. That's what your sheep city is about to do. Y'all are collecting data. What are y'all going to do with that data? What if I data her or him or him or him, but not on them doing it? I'm saying.
Thank you.
This is scary.
Thank you.
A lot of people are scared. But I want one
Thank
last
you.
point.
No, you've
Our
done your 3 minutes,
our
sir.
leading
You've done your 3 minutes. Respect everyone
Mayor
else.
Kelly, where would Mayor
Mr.
Kelly
Gillies,
be at?
you have done your 3 minutes. Thank you so much.
I've
We
got such a
appreciate
good
you.
point.
I'm sure
Let me
you
borrow
do.
2 minutes. Can I buy 2
No,
minutes?
you can't. No, sir, you cannot. We will respect everybody else. Nobody has to get borrowed minutes and you won't.
May
need
I?
it. No, you can't.
No.
Thank you so much,
I
though. We
would just
appreciate
like
it.
to point out.
No,
the-
there's
the
no more
Kelly
points,
family,
Mr.
the
Gillies. There are
Kelly
no more
family.
points. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Yes,
Kelly
ma'am. You come on up. Yes, ma'am. You can come on up. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Gillies. I appreciate you. Okay, all right, thank you. All right, yes, ma'am.
All right, my name is Melody Garcia. Last week I was here and I kept hearing people say, oh, on the surface level, this plan looks great. It's the 62 pages behind the surface level that does not look great. Go on the website, click the links, do some research. We have been called conspiracy theorists for the last 4 years, but guess what? All of those conspiracy theories have come true. They're facts. Do the research. We were mocked. We were laughed at last week because we're speaking false. We don't have the facts, but guess what, Mr. Advisor? We're not lying and we're not conspiracy theories. Thank you.
Thank you.
Aaron Berry, District 3. Thank you, too, for being the voice of the people. I applaud you, and I love you. I can sit here and I can preach and tell you everything that everybody else don't know, but I'm 3 steps ahead of most of these people in this crowd. So let me explain something to you. Why you guys are telling us by your vote that we're stupid enough that we can't manage ourselves, that we're caveman, stupid people. That we don't have enough people in this city that care and love this city enough to where we can change it around. That we don't have the brains and the mindsets to take care of our own destiny. That you're going to allow someone from a foreign land to come in here and manage our welfare and our well-being. Shame on you, every one of you. especially you in law that know constitutional law. You're forgetting that almost 35% of your people here in Chattanooga live outside and work. What you're doing is cutting our throats. Within 20 years after the federal funding, Dunlap's going to be your new city. Kimball's going to be your new city, or Crossville will be. This place is going to be dead like Chicago, like other city that you ghettoed down because you want to take the money and not do the thing. Listen, I already know what's fixing to happen. We're going to win this fight. I'm going to fight till I'm dead, and that God takes my last breath. I've prayed for you. Some of you took money. Once we overturn this, I'm going to ask for criminal charges to be brought against you. And I'm going to bring in TBI and other forces, and we're going to take your financials and we're going to spread them apart. And we're going to find out which one of you guys took the money. Because guess what? As a police officer, retiree, what do we do when we find out when something's dirty? We follow that money. You always follow the money. And let me tell you something. Everybody's been quiet for the last 2 years because you dummified us and didn't let us come in here and speak and went ahead and passed something without our knowledge. You broke laws there too. Listen, I'm going to sit here because I prayed and I know God's got this. And I'm going to be with a big smile on my face because I'm going to wait till the day they put handcuffs on the ones of you who are traitors to us and the ones that took the money and allowed the demeaning voting systems to come into our Hamilton County. It's coming, and you can't stop what's coming. And guess what? I love it, and I see it all now because you guys already took it. I see the people who took it. I know who are the ones I'm going to see smiling while they take handcuffs to you because you ain't allowing the city to take their own destiny in their hands. You're sitting there multitasking us and controlling us. Well, guess what? I believe in my city. I'm from here. I was born here. I remember once put it in. And we cleaned it up. We're going to clean it up again. God bless you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Good evening, Council. Mark Shackelford, Shackelford Towing and Recovery, and I'm in Miss Dotley's district. For the past several months after the city record rate increase passed, I have personally attended the record and beer board meetings that happen here on the first and third Thursday of every month in the same room, and continually have asked again and again for ordinance revision to get some emphasis discussion on trying to get a 18-year-old ordinance revised to get into some new topics and new equipment and update the outdated ordinance. In the rate increase, I was kind of given the roles to kind of be the industry spokesman. And again, we've approached the Beer and Record Board multiple times. And after a conversation today, Ms. Kinsey asked me if I'd come to the council today and asked to try to figure out what we need to do from here to start diving into that ordinance. She's willing to make a recommendation and kind of want to get some opinions on how we can start the process again.
All right. Thank you so much, Mark. And you can see Joda. I'm sure you know who Joda is by now. And you can talk to Joda after the meeting. Joda, where are you at?
He's right here.
He's right here. All right.
He's behind me.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
My name is Caleb Traxler. I am a mechanical engineering student at UTC. And I have studied climate science and energy technologies for over 10 years now. I'm currently training to work at a nuclear power plant and to provide energy for this city. And it's for that reason that I would like to support this climate plan. I personally see the benefit. Like I said, I've studied for many years and I see how this can help our city. Right now, I'm actually working with a local business to build affordable housing for this city that will lower the cost for the individuals living there by reducing their energy bills. And this plan could go a long way to helping that goal of providing affordable, energy efficient housing for people. And I would just really like to see this go through and to benefit future generations such as myself here in this city. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. I don't see anyone else wishing to address the council. Council, what's your pleasure?
Move adjourned.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you. Ooh, geez. You made it.
Did you just come to see the show?
All right.